It's been a while since I've done a commentary, but with the subject matter I found on this video, I might as well just say something. I do have some friends in this certain community I'm about to talk about. I felt much more address it here. And guess what? It's not going to stop me from calling out all the bullshit. So, let's begin.
No one is telling you that you can't cosplay a person of color as a white person. They're telling you that you shouldn't. This is a broad conversation that is stemmed from a specific one that has been taking place on the GeekyCon 2018 Facebook group since yesterday.
Can you present a link or an example so that way you can back up your argument right here? Right now, I'm just going by sticks and stones.
Someone asked if it's okay for white people to cosplay as Hamilton characters, and they were asking if not, why, wanting to hear from all voices, including people of color.
Wow, that doesn't sound racist in the slightest. Wouldn't it just been easier to say everybody?
Now, this question was met with a ton of white people on the defense saying that you can cosplay as anything if you love the character, as long as you don't do black or brown face.
Yeah, black or brown face is ugh. But saying white people are on the defense about this? You could have cited this source and I could have easily looked this up. It could have been anybody, for all I know.
And a lot of these white people in this discussion were speaking over the voices of people of color. Whenever a person of color tried to come in and say that they didn't agree, that they found this to be racist or problematic, they just kept explaining themselves and why they thought it was okay.
Again, you could have cited the source and I could have looked this up. For all I know, you're making all this up to make yourself look good.
Now, some people of color in that conversation also thought that it was okay for white people to cosplay as Hamilton characters, but several of them were clearly stating that they were uncomfortable with it, at best.
There is nothing wrong with cosplaying as your favorite character, no matter the skin color. If you love that character, dress up as that character to honor that character. Nothing wrong with that. At all. But you're saying that people of color, I guess I'm going to go use that, or get offended when you spoke to them about this, and this is a minority? Again, it's hard to prove your argument when you don't cite this source.
Mainly they were saying that it's harmful for white people to cosplay as non-white characters due to representation issues.
Representation issues. So let's just go by your logic, for example. White people can't cosplay as blacks or Asian characters. Okay, with that same logic, that means black people can't cosplay as white or Asian, and Asian can't cosplay as white or black characters. See how fundamentally flawed that is?
Now, I'm going to break this down a bit further to explain to you why it's not okay to, 1, speak over marginalized voices, and 2, to choose to cosplay as a person of color when you're a white person and there are just so many white characters you can cosplay as.
1. This is the internet. You speak for yourself and yourself alone. 2. You don't tell people what they can and can't cosplay as. Doesn't matter what skin color or what type of character they are. I'm just gonna let this next part speak for itself.
Now, I know I'm white, and this could be taken as me just being another white girl talking over marginalized voices. However, I'm being an ally in this conversation because the other white people in this conversation will not listen to those marginalized voices saying that what they're doing is wrong. So those of us who are actually listening to marginalized voices just have to keep talking, so that's what I'm doing. And I've spoken to several people of color about this very topic, and I'm here to spread their messages.
Yes. You are a white girl. More specifically, a social justice warrior. You think you can go ahead and speak for everybody because, oh, they're not being heard. When in fact they're being heard, but you're making sure that they're not being heard, but through you and you alone. And I have one simple question for you. Who gave you the authority to be their voice? I'm waiting.
Specifically to the GeekyCon 2018 group of people, if you find that community and that group a safe space, that is great. However, for it to be a true safe space, we need to remember all of the identities of everyone involved. I would encourage you to look at the Harry Potter Alliance's Positive Fandom Guidelines to give you a good understanding of how to create a safe space, and I will leave that down in the link below. When a
Safe spaces and guidelines. Really?
person of color doesn't feel comfortable when you're doing something they consider racist, you're not creating a safe space. And you shouldn't feel attacked if you're told that your viewpoint is problematic. This is something that I've learned to do, and you should learn to do as well, because it makes a safe space for everybody.
Cosplayers usually go to conventions or to charity events dressed up as their characters. What you're saying is we should make safe spaces for all of these people. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Oh, and I love the fact, too, you actually took the time and effort to put in a little message saying that your audio was out of sync there. Good job.
You should listen to those calmly telling you why your opinion or your statement is problematic, and you should take that in and readjust your thoughts or your feelings or your opinions on this matter based on the voices that you're not listening to and that you're taught not to listen to. We need to change our behaviors when they're upsetting to other human beings and people in our community.
Everyone's gonna have a different opinion, no matter what. You shouldn't try to change their opinion just because they're problematic or you don't agree with it. Hell, I'm making this commentary because I disagree with your opinion.
It's really quite simple when you break it down and you stop yourself from being affronted immediately. If we can all listen to each other and have polite discourse when something is offensive, that's how we create safe fan spaces. This makes everyone better. This makes our community better. We have to listen to marginalized voices because traditionally we haven't.
And yet, you are trying to be their voice. See how flawed that is?
And it just makes these spaces worse for them. And worse for all of us in the end if we're not including everyone.
But you want everybody to follow certain guidelines, dress up as characters of their own skin color, and yet you want everybody to have safe spaces. Yeah, that's not gonna happen anytime soon.
Now back to cosplay for a minute. I've never personally cosplayed.
And there you have it, folks! Another social justice warrior going into a community she does not know and wants to change everything for her benefit only. Yeah, I'm taking everything she said now as a grain of salt.
There are a million characters that I could choose to cosplay, but I know to never choose a Hamilton character because it's not for me.
I might as well just let this one out of the bag now. Apparently the Hamilton she's talking about is Hamilton, an American musical, about Alexander Hamilton, one of the American founding fathers, who is white, by the way, being played by black people. So she just basically killed her own argument right there about that too. This is why I hate social justice warriors, and I hate talking about serious topics like this. But it had to be done. I'm Blood, and I approve of this message.